morning, everybody. I'm Anna Silenzi. I'm an architect and a consultant for the World Health Organization. Today, I present one of the projects we developed in collaboration with the Téchne member Politecnico of Turin. The project encompasses 3 multiple infectious disease treatment centers for 3 different sites in southwest Uganda, designed following the same methodology. But first of all, what does it mean, multiple infectious disease treatment center? I'll give you an overview of this concept in this presentation. So let's start with the word infectious diseases. If we look globally, we are always surrounded by infectious disease outbreaks. And there are areas where these outbreaks of specific disease are more likely to occur, or areas prone to endemic infectious disease. So as we see, outbreaks and health emergencies can happen anywhere and at any time. This means that all countries should aim to strengthen and maintain adequate capacities and to effectively progress through the cycle of prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery from public health threats. By developing strong preparedness and response capacities, countries develop greater health system resilience and ability to provide universal health coverage. Well-managed response operations deliver life-saving health intervention to ensure people have timely access to quality health services. Health system is a complex system, which includes several pillars. But in this presentation, we will focus only on the structural part of the health system. For this reason, let's see what does it mean treatment center and what is a treatment center. In terms of health structure, when an outbreak occurs, we need to isolate the first cases and provide them proper care. This could happen in dedicated ward within an existing health facility or in dedicated facilities that are the treatment center. Additionally, when an outbreak occurs, it is important to be prepared for the following epidemic phase. That means plan in advance to increase the bed capacity of our structure. And again, it means increase the bed capacity within an existing structure or installing new treatment centers. We can have different types of treatment centers, depending on the health structure and the materials available locally, according to the time available before the first patient's admission, according to the level of preparedness of the country. The treatment center may vary from short-term solution, so quickly to install, rapid deployable, that lasts for short periods, such as some tents that we see in this presentation, to long-term solution, more like permanent facilities. So in our case, the project we am presenting in this presentation, the Uganda Ministry of Health decided to invest in preparedness, planning to build permanent structures able to host different infectious disease. So long-term solution, always in place, well-designed, can provide better staff and patients' comfort, higher quality of care, no delay in the emergency response because the structure is already in place. Talking about permanent structure, they should be able to host several diseases with different modes of transmission. This allows the health facility to be flexible and able to respond to different health emergencies, ensuring always safety and comfort for both patients and staff. But what is the mode of transmission of a disease? The mode of transmission is the way the microorganism that causes a disease moves from the portal of exit of the reservoir, for example, an infected person, to the portal of entry of a susceptible host, for example, another person. We prevent the infection by breaking the chain of infection in one or more points. The chain of infection is here represented in the picture. Looking at the design and the built environment, we can break the chain of infection working on the mode of transmission of the disease. The design strategies related to the built environment that contribute to reduce the risk of infection are part of the engineering controls you see here represented in the pyramid of the hierarchy of controls. Engineering controls can reduce the potential exposure to the hazard, isolating the people from the hazard itself. Examples of these strategies are strictly linked to the mode of transmission. And the examples are physical barriers and separate flows to avoid direct contact between people, ventilation to reduce the risk of airborne disease spreading in an indoor environment, mosquito nets to reduce the risk of getting in contact with vectors that may carry vector-borne disease. Talking about separation, clear separation between the areas of risk is a key element to reduce the risk of infection inside a treatment center. So two main areas characterize our treatment center. The low risk area, highlighted here in green, dedicated to the staff, and the high risk zone in red, where patients receive treatment and care, and where the presence of the pathogen is expected. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, should be worn only in the high risk area, the red one. And the PPE vary according to the disease treated inside the center and its mode of transmission. The treatment center is always fenced off. You see here in the picture, 2 meters between fence, 1.2 meters height. This allows to isolate the center, but allow as well the possibility of visual and verbal contact with the outside, rather with the family, the visitor, and the community. The staff have dedicated control entrance to the low-risk area. Once inside, they can move between the low-risk and the high-risk zone through the donning and the doffing areas. Staff members wear the personal protective equipment in the donning area and remove it in the doffing area. So, in other words, basically, these spaces, the donning and the doffing, represent the entrance and the exit to and from the high-risk zone. Each area is characterized by different function. The red zone, or the high-risk zone, is dedicated mostly to patients' treatment and recovery, while the green area presents clinical, administrative, and technical function dedicated to the staff. Some functions are located in between the two areas and should be accessible from both sides. For example, we saw in the previous slide the donning and the doffing, but as well, waste area should be accessible from both sides, and the screening area as well should be accessible from both sides. Beyond preventing the cross-infection, or rather the staff and other patients' protection from getting infected inside the facility, other key elements should be considered in the design of a multiple infectious disease treatment center. So let's have a look to some of these key elements. The treatment center is designed not only as an isolation unit, but as a safe care environment centered around the needs of patients, families, and community. The center is designed to provide safe care, humanized and effective care as well. The facility is designed to be flexible and adaptable to the management of various infectious diseases. The center is designed to be accessible to patients with a wide range of needs, including those with mobility impairments. The treatment center should be also climatic responsive and energy responsible. Cultural adaptability and participation should be also included. Design should provide opportunities to ensure respect and enhance the engagement and the understanding of the local culture. So, keeping in mind all these design key elements, let's have a look now to what we developed and how those principles have been integrated in the design for the 3 treatment centers in Uganda. We developed 3 different projects for the 3 cities of Bwera, Rwekubo, and Kisoro with the same design approach, following the principle mentioned in the first part of the presentation. For the purpose of the presentation, I selected here only the case of Rwekubo. From this view of the Rwekubo Treatment Center, we already noticed many interesting elements. For instance, 2 entrances for the patients, 1 for the pedestrian and 1 for the ambulance, are separated from the staff entrance in green and the visitor entrances in yellow. This reduced the possibility of contact. A double fence with 2 meters in between ensures visual and verbal contact, avoiding direct contact between people in several parts of the site. Chimneys, here highlighted in blue, enhance ventilation, ensuring adequate air change in the patient's room. The design presents modular patient's ward. Let's look to the inside of the facility. The facility is composed by the patient's entrance area, the staff area, the support services area, and the treatment area, with 3 modular wards. Clear separation between the high-risk area and the low-risk areas is highlighted with the red and the green colors. As we said before, the staff can move freely without the PPE in the green area. 2 types of patients' ward characterize the facility. 1 with shared rooms, only for patients with confirmed disease, and 1 with individual room. Both the wards are characterized by a central nursing station with a transparent screen to monitor patients' condition, centralized donning and doffing to let the staff move from the low-risk area to the high-risk area, and therefore moving from the nursing station to the patient's room, and external terrace for patients. This is a view from the central nursing station. The transparent screen allows to monitor the patient condition without putting on the PPE. And here, an image of the external patient's terrace. A double fence allows the relatives to interact with the patients from a safe distance. Strategies to create effective cross-ventilation to reduce the risk of airborne disease spreading has been included in the design, but this will be explained in details in the next presentation. Thank you.